Here was Concordia head golf coach Brett Muller to preview the 2015-16 season. First, when we look back at last year, a lot of program records were broken by both men and women. Both moved up a little bit in the GPAC standings. How do you assess the 2014-15 season?
Last year's season was definitely a step in the right direction. It could have been a lot better on both the men's side and the women's side. Going into the final women's qualifier, we were just a couple shots out of second place, and that was really our goal, to finish the top two in the conference. Unfortunately, we did not play very well at number 4 and slid down in the standings. But overall, like you mentioned, we did set several records, school records, and are really improved our overall team score. On the men's side, very similar. It was definitely a step in the right direction. However, at GPAC number 3, we had just our worst day of the year as far as the team score went. That really took us out of the conference standings and really hurt us there. We did a nice job bouncing back at GPAC number 4.
A change for this season is Sean Rodahorst moving from player to graduate assistant coach. How much will that help the program to have a graduate assistant, and specifically Sean moving into that role?
Yep, Sean will be a great guy to have on staff as a graduate assistant. Obviously, he just finished his competitive collegiate playing career. And so he'll have, definitely some insight of, the mental aspect of playing collegiate golf. Sean was a player for us that played every varsity match from his freshman year on, and played in the number 1 spot the last 3 years. So he'll definitely be able to help the guys there, and also I think gives some of the women's team a better outlook from the mental standpoint.
When you look at your men's team first, you have a couple guys back who averaged in the 70s last year with Reed Wiebe and Russell Otten. How are they able to have that kind of success in their first seasons at Concordia?
Both Reed and Russell are very solid players. And this year I look for those two guys to compete for the number 1 spot. They're very close on and off the course, and very similar to the relationship that Amy and Emma had last year. And I think it'll really drive them into practice, and also help them knowing, at the end of the day, we're still on the same team and we're Bulldogs.
How much in awe are some of the other golfers maybe when they watch Reed tee off, and how big of an advantage has it been for him?
Yeah, when you go back and look at the scoring from last year, Reed definitely takes advantage of the par 5s with how far he hits the ball off the tee. He can definitely take some different angles off the tees that a lot of other golfers cannot take, just with how far he does hit the ball, and he did a pretty good job on the par 5s last year.
Now, how did things come together for Reed to make his way to Concordia from UNO, and when did you maybe realize you had a chance of getting him here?
Yeah, I actually knew Reed from high school. He played at Sutton High School and had a lot of the smaller D1s and some D2s after him, and ended up at UNO. Didn't have a very good golf experience there, was actually a general student. Then Reed thought he may want to play baseball. About last July, he had sent out some questionnaires, and Coach Dupick got his questionnaire, kind of gave me the heads up on him, and I knew he's probably a better golfer than he was a baseball player. Him and Sean already knew each other, so Sean was a big part of getting Reed here at school, and it actually wasn't until about last August that Reed became a Bulldog.
You have a lot of other experienced players in the mix that have golfed a lot of rounds at Concordia. Who else fits into the mix? And I'm sure there'll be a lot of competition for spots there after Reed and Russell.
Yep. With Sean being our only senior last year, we have everybody back. So we should have great depth on the men's side. Tyler Ayersman was a player that played almost every varsity tournament last year. He'll just be a sophomore this year. And also Jared Kneffel had a very good freshman season and a great second half of his sophomore season. He'll definitely be in the mix. Peyton DiVincenti was a freshman last year. He's right there. And then we have Sam Simonson, Brock Colclaser, Court Krogan that are all upperclassmen now that have varsity experience. And then also Matt Otten was a transfer last year that has the capability of being in the top 5. And then very excited with Nolan Zekas as an incoming freshman. He finished 3rd last year at the Class A state tournament, so I think he'll definitely be in the mix of the top 5. So we have a lot of guys that have a shot to play on our top 5.
On the women's side, you have the big 3 back that were all conference last year. Looking at Amy first, how does the success she's had in her first 2 years kind of stack up with maybe other women's golfers' first couple years in the history of this program?
Amy has definitely separated herself already, on our team and in the conference of being, one of the top players. Looking back at the history of, Concordia women's golf, she definitely has a chance to be the best golfer in program history. I'm very excited for what's to come with our women's team. We were a very young team last year. Our top 5 was all freshmen and sophomores, so there's definitely a learning curve there, and I think moving forward it'll be a better year for us.
How impressed were you with the way Emma competed in her first season?
There's definitely a gap from your high school career to your college career. That first year, especially just playing tougher golf courses, the way the golf courses are set up, definitely a lot tougher, and then the added length. And Emma did a great job of adapting to that. I knew Emma from high school was a very good player, and she did a nice job of coming in. And both Amy and Emma put in countless hours in the summer. Both of them played on a lot of the in the Women Golf Association events this summer, and both of them practiced quite a bit.
As a trio, that group of Amy, Emma, and Kayla, where would they rank? Against some of the other top 3 in the conference.
Our top 3, will be very similar to Dakota Wesleyan's top 3. We just need to get some consistency from everybody. 1 through 5 on that varsity roster that'll really help us. Last year, going to GPAC number 4. We didn't play as well in the top 2 spots, and that definitely hurt us in the final GPAC standings.
What's the competition like then for those 4 and 5 spots?
With the 4 and 5 spots, obviously, both of those are returners. Ashley Pospisil and Brenna are both coming back. Played 4 and 5 essentially every tournament last year. Brought in Mallory Fila and Madison Pitch that'll both compete for those 4 and 5 spots.
I know team-wise you want to see both of them move up in the GPAC as they have the last couple of years. How do both programs get to where you want them to be in competing, maybe to even get to the national tournament?
I think on the women's side, we definitely grew as a team. It was a great experience for us. We were right in the mix going to the final GPAC qualifier. Obviously didn't go as well as we would have liked it to go, but I think we're going to gain from that experience, and moving forward, we won't let that happen again. On the men's side, we were, I think, about 20 shots back from first going into GPAC number 3. Just did not have a very good third qualifier. On the men's side, the biggest thing that we need out of the guys is consistency. Especially from the 3, 4, and 5 spots.